My name is Brittany Allyn, and today on Savor the Flavors, I'll share with you my recipe for pimento cheese mac and cheese. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said cheese twice. Actually, I could have said it 3 times because there's 3 different cheeses in this dish. When I moved from Minnesota to Tennessee and started exploring Southern cuisine, I learned very quickly that pimento cheese and macaroni and cheese were both very popular dishes, and I came up with this idea of sort of combining them to create some kind of super hybrid cheesy slice of Southern cuisine, and that's what I've done here. Now, to show you how to do it, I'm going to get some pots heating on the stove here, and we're going to, in our small pot, add 12 ounces of evaporated milk, and we just want this warming a little bit, and also a ½ cup of just regular milk. Now, I like the evaporated milk for this because it's extra rich. Basically, evaporated milk is just regular milk with about 60% of the water removed, so it's more concentrated and richer. And when I'm making a mac and cheese, I'm not looking for some low-calorie option. I'm going all out, okay? While that's warming, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter to our other skillet, have that melting over medium heat. Here I have my pasta pot. It's got water in it that's already boiling. And I'm just going to add some sea salt to that because it's always a good idea to season your pasta. Get that going. And here I have 2½ cups of just regular dried macaroni. And we'll add that. We're going to give that a little bit of a stir. And we're going to cook this for about 7 minutes, or just until the pasta's a little bit al dente. Now, once our butter is melted and we're almost there, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. And really what we're doing here is just sort of making a roux to thicken our cheese sauce. We're just going to kind of stir this and get it all incorporated. Basically, we're just cooking off that raw flour taste. And now that's looking good, and it's time to whisk in our milk. Like I said, we just kind of needed that a little bit warmed. We'll pour this in, and we're just going to whisk it until everything is nice and smooth and there are no lumps. And we're going to heat this for, say, 2 to 3 minutes, just until it starts to thicken. Okay, as you can see, this is starting to thicken, and it's just about right when you see that it kind of leaves a trail like that. That means it's about the right consistency. And now we are going to add some mayonnaise. Now, mayonnaise you don't usually put in macaroni and cheese, but it's a key ingredient for pimento cheese, and I love the tang that it adds to this dish. So we're just going to put that in here and get it all combined. And then it is time to add our cheese. And as I promised, I have 3 different cheeses here. I have a sharp cheddar, I have a pepper jack, which I love that heat that you find when you have good pimento cheese, and I wanted to make sure that our mac and cheese had that heat as well. So I want some pepper jack, and also some regular good old American yellow cheese, because to me it's not mac and cheese without American cheese. And I have 2 ounces of each of these. And I'll just put this in here and get it melting. Now, when you're using cheese for a mac and cheese, it's always a good idea to grate or shred it yourself. When you buy pre-shredded cheese, you may have noticed that it doesn't stick together in the package. That's because they add something to prevent clumping, which is great in certain dishes, but in this, I think it prevents the sauce from getting as creamy as it possibly can. So I always take a few extra minutes and shred the cheese myself. And we just want to get that melting. While that's going on, we can season this. I've got a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper because we want to keep building on that heat. And I'm going to have a ½ teaspoon of sea salt here, and some freshly cracked black pepper, about 10 turns of our pepper grinder. I think that's good. We'll get this stirred in. And then it's time to add our pimentos. I have a 4-ounce jar of diced pimentos that I have drained. This adds such great color and flavor to the dish. Stir all that in. That is looking good. And now it's time to check our pasta. You always have to test it, right? Let's get one of these little guys, if I can. It's perfect. Still just a little bit al dente, just the way we want it. And we'll just take our pasta, and if we can get it here, add it to our sauce. And I think I'll use a spoon for this. We're just going to stir this until all of the pasta is evenly coated with that cheese sauce. Now, if you find while you're doing this that the sauce is too thick, what you can do is just add a little bit of your reserved pasta water, and that will loosen it up nicely. But this is looking beautiful. Just gorgeous. Now, I think this is looking just perfect. I like to serve this as a stovetop mac and cheese because I think you can really appreciate the creaminess that way. However, if you prefer a baked mac and cheese, you can put this in a greased 2.5 quart casserole, maybe put a little more cheese on top. Bake it at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes until it starts to bubble up. It's good that way too. Now I'm just going to take my little dish. We'll serve some up here. This is looking and smelling so good. There we go. And I always like to top it with just a little bit of fresh parsley for a little more color. Now, of course, mac and cheese makes a great side dish, but sometimes I like to serve it as a main dish. And when I do, I always serve a nice salad with a vinaigrette along with it. And here I'm showing it with my raspberry almond salad. And that video recipe is available on my website, as well as printable copies of both of these recipes. So visit savortheflavors.tv. And the next time you start to make a mac and cheese, change it up a little bit and savor the flavors of my pimento cheese mac and cheese.